Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast, episode number 2. I am joined by regular co-host NRL Vids 090. How are you, Lorenzo?
Going very well on this afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Mate, we got a few things to talk about this afternoon. Obviously, the big news, Cameron Smith announcing his retirement, which is not really a shock, but I think we all knew it was going to happen eventually. But we'll talk about Cameron Smith retiring, and we'll also talk about the NRL games this weekend, a couple of massive games. You know, obviously Thursday night, Melbourne versus South Sydney, a blockbuster game. You know, there's a lot of cracking games on the weekend. Your team, Manly, taking on the Roosters. My team, the Cowboys, taking on the Panthers, last year's grand finalists. You know, we've got a rivalry game on Sunday night between St. George and Cronulla. Some huge games this weekend. But, you know, I'm looking forward to this, bro. Episode number 2 of the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast. It's going to be a good one, I reckon.
I'm keen. I am keen.
Before we get into it, I'm just gonna open up a can of Coke and yeah, we'll be back in a second. All right, let's get into it. So, the first topic we're going to talk about this afternoon is obviously the big news that has come this afternoon or this morning. I didn't wake up till about 11 o'clock this morning, so when I woke up, my phone was just buzzing. Cameron Smith has officially announced his retirement. Lorenzo, what are your thoughts on this? Smith has retired. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, look, mate, it's huge. I mean, obviously he's been one of the best players for, you know, who knows how long. You know, he's just been an absolute legend to the game and for the Melbourne Storm. You know, I think losing someone like him is obviously going to be pretty sad. But you know, I've never really been a fan of him, to be honest. But I can't, you know, dismiss his success in NRL and just the way he plays and the way he goes about business. It's really good and he will be missed by it for sure. But doesn't really come as a shock to me though. In the end,
yeah, absolutely, bro. I couldn't agree more. You know, some people like Cameron Smith, some people don't like Cameron Smith, but I'm the sort of guy, you know, growing up as a kid, wasn't the biggest fan of Cameron Smith because he was playing with that Melbourne Storm side who had the likes of Inglis, Falau, you know, Slater, Cronk, all these sort of players, Brett Finch. I had everybody, excuse me. You know, Melbourne for mine, you know, they're a club growing up. You know, a lot of young people don't really like too much, but, you know, you got to respect Cameron Smith's legacy. And, you know, he's probably one of the greatest players I've ever seen. I've said it before on my channel, and, you know, I think you said it before as well. He's probably the greatest player that I've ever seen. You know, Cameron Smith, you know, he's a future immortal. And, you know, we could sit here and stand here for the next hour or so and talk about him if we wanted to, but we don't really have to because we already know his career. We all know what he's done in the game. But, you know, I just want to congratulate Cameron Smith on a fantastic career. And, you know, I think he'll be a future immortal and he's the best player that I've ever seen, along with Jonathan Thurston.
Yeah, him and Thurston for mine are the best I've personally seen. You know, I just think, you know, the way he goes about business and the way he just plays, it's just, you know, he's just a really successful player. Like he's, you know, the funny thing about Cameron Smith is he's not really built like a, you know, a muscular player. He's just more of a businessman sort of body. You know, he just look, he's just a really good, really smart player. Just obviously gets through business really well. Yes, you know, I got a question why it's long for him to make this decision, but you know, in the end, at least he's made something happen, and yeah, look, all the best to him in retirement, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him, really soon join some coaching role somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he joined the Queensland coaching side, or if he was there just to do something with the hookers, or maybe
Yeah,
some sort of coaching in the future. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw him in Fox or Channel 9. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a role there. Maybe being a commentator once or twice a weekend or something like that. But before we move on from the Cameron Smith stuff, I just want to ask you: do you think the announcement that he made, obviously made his announcement today that he's going to retire a day before the season? Do you think it was a poor time to make his decision, or do you think he made it at the right time?
I think it was pretty poor. It wasn't. I mean, it's not bad, but like it's not great though that he's left it to the last second. I mean, obviously, he had the whole preseason to make a decision, and to leave it last second is a bit annoying because obviously he's kept the whole competition pretty much on feet up until now.
Yeah,
I think Look, I mean, at least something's happened, but it's obviously he's taking way too long. I think, but yeah, that's the thing.
yeah. Look, in my opinion, Cameron Smith, obviously, he can do whatever he wants, and he took a very long time to make his decision on what he was going to do. So, but look, the thing is that I want to say about Cameron Smith is to make his decision that he's going to retire one day before the season kicks off. I feel like he just wants to have the media attention on him and just get all the spotlight on him again. So, although I'm glad he retired and good on him, he can do whatever he wants. He's one of the best we've ever seen, and he has the right to make his decision whenever he wants. But to do it a day out from the opening season, from the first game of the season, I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. But good on him, and bow down to Cameron Smith, one of the best players that the game's ever seen. A lot of people don't like him, a lot of people love him, but you know, before we move on from the Cameron Smith, I just want to say hello to the chat. Hope you guys are all well. Hello to CJ Moxley, Rugby League History, Warriors NRL Fanatics, Daniel Sexton, Denny, Carlos, the Flea official. I'm just having a look at the chat right here. We got so many people coming in. We got CT Dingo. We got NRL updates. We got Faraz Alarm. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, hello to everyone in the chat. But anything else you want to talk about Cameron Smith, Lorenzo, or you want to move on?
Yeah, well, it looks like we've got everyone here tonight, and also, there isn't much. I don't think there's much more to say about Cameron Smith. Obviously, he's a legend of the game for the Melbourne Storm, and
Yeah.
he just obviously will be missed, and best of luck to him, I guess.
I'm with you, bro. Good luck to Cameron Smith, and from me and NRL Vid 090 and everyone in the rugby league community, congratulations on a great career to Cameron Smith. So let's move on to the next topic, bro. And I want to talk. You want to talk about this? Some of the players that have been left out of the team list for this weekend. Obviously, round one kicks off on Thursday night, and me and Lorenzo will do a preview of the games. We'll go in depth and we'll break down how some teams can beat other teams and how some teams should attack and defend against these other sides. So we'll get into that a little later on. But we're going to talk about some of the players that have been left out for the games. Excuse me. Far out, got the burps. This weekend. So we'll start with the Melbourne Souths game, bro. Are you surprised to see Jackson Paulo and Paddy Mago out of the Bunny 17?
Look, I think after last year, obviously Jackson Paulo was definitely one of the best young players to come up through the South system and play this year, like last year, and the best young players coming up. Obviously, with Josh signing at the club now, obviously going to stop a bit of Jackson Paulo's development as a player, but I'm sure Jackson Paulo can bide his time in reserve grade. But yeah, look, I don't know. It's an interesting one to see him left out of the side, but obviously, there's obviously better positions covered, and Paulo for this year might be just a backup player, but I think in a couple more games or years he'll be much better than that. But I'm not too shocked about him being out of the team. And for the Storm, I guess with Bronco Lee having a hamstring injury, I'm not too surprised that Remus Smith has to make the switch to the centres, and then George Jennings. I mean, George Jennings is a pretty reliable player in my opinion. I never really rated him at the start when he was at Parramatta, but I think since since moving to the Warriors on a loan deal, he's definitely proven he can be better than just a average player. So, I think he'll go well, and I think it's gonna be a good game either way.
Yeah, look, with Jackson Paulo, so obviously he's in the reserves for the Bunnies, so if there's an injury to the outside backs, Jackson Paulo will go straight in. But my problem is with the Rabbitohs, you got guys like Jackson Paulo, Braden Burns, Stephen Masters, three very good players who I think should be playing first grade every week. They are in the Rabbitohs' depth, which is incredible for them. But I kind of feel sorry for him because Jackson Paulo, he should be playing first grade, and it does definitely affect his development. Braden Burns, I think he's a player that should be starting at an NRL club right now. He's a pretty solid centre. And Stephen Masters, I think he's a player that could be starting at another team, but I think he's going to be patient and bide his time. But, I think Souths have got so much depth in this side. It's really hard for these young players to get a crack unless there's injuries. But like I said, with the Melbourne side, obviously Brenko Lee's not playing due to a hamstring problem. So Remus Smith goes to the centres and George Jennings goes to the wing. I think Remus Smith might be a bit of a weak link in the centres there. I watched him play centre at Canterbury last year for a couple of rounds and didn't impress me on the centre that much, but he's all right in the wing. But I don't think there's too many surprises for the Souths Melbourne game as in terms of team selection and players getting snubbed. So let's go on to the next game, bro. So the players that have been that we think have been a bit snobbed for the Knights and Bulldogs game. The first one for the Knights, Hymel Hunt, left out of the 17. He's in the reserves as 18th man. What are your thoughts on this decision from Adam O'Brien for the Knights?
I think it's a bit strange in my opinion. I think Hymel Hunt's a pretty, reliable player in my opinion. I think he does a job. I think last year was pretty good for the Knights. Obviously, I said last year was when the Knights had a pretty decent season. I think he went pretty well as well. Leaving him out's a bit strange because I think that he's one of their most experienced backs, I reckon. And that the Knights have Jahamat Shibasaki, who's young, but he's inexperienced as well. And Starford Toa.
He's not a winger though, is he?
Showing some.
He's not a winger at all, is he? No way.
No, he's not. What's it called? I think Anari Tuala, he's solid, but I think Hymel Hunt's a better player in my opinion. I think I think after last year you got to find Tuala a spot after last year, obviously. But I think if you were to compare Hymel Hunt and Anari Tuala for that tennis spot, I think Hymel Hunt's probably the better option. And for the Bulldogs, I think it's a bit interesting that Dylan Arp was off the bench, but I guess you have to remember he did come off a knee injury last year, so that's obviously why he might be eased from the bench to starting during the game. And what's it called? I think Hickey Ogden starting at prop. I've never really seen much of Ogden, but I know him as a player, but I haven't really seen him much play. But I do know he's a pretty decent sort of youngish forward. So hopefully he does start. And I think also Bulldogs is that they've moved Josh Jackson to lock and it's a back row, which I'm a big fan of. I think right now Josh Jackson's sort of that Paul Gallen sort of player where he'll just tackle from the middle and defend well. I don't think he's an edge player anymore, Josh Jackson. I think moving Adam Elliott to the back row is a really good thing. I think at least Trent Barrett can finally realise that, unlike Steve Georgiades or Dean Payne did. And I think it's definitely a better back row. In that trial game against Sharks, he definitely had one of his best games in the back row. And I think a good game. It'll be a pretty decent game. Like I said in my tipping video, if you haven't watched already, guys, I did say that the Bulldogs for the upset to win 18-14 on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I agree. I think Hymel Hunt is definitely a better player than Anari Tuala. I know Adam O'Brien sees Anari Tuala as a very good centre. I'm a little bit surprised that Hymel Hunt was left out of the 17. Look, I think Shibasaki on the wing, don't really like Shibasaki on the wing. He's more of a back rower / centre. So I'm a little bit surprised about that decision. I like Starford Toa. I think he'll do a job on the wing. I think Bradman Best is the future. Anari Tuala, I think he probably deserves to get the first crack with Bradman Best. So I think Shibasaki should be the one left out and Homer Hunt should be in the side. So I'm a little bit surprised about that. Now, as you're saying about the Bulldogs, now Jake Averillo playing 5'8". Now, I'm going to just say this before we get into it. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on Jake Averillo at 5'8". I think he's a centre, maybe even a fullback in the future. I don't see Jake Averillo as a 5'8". I don't think he has the defensive ability to be able to come over from the other side of the field, make a big tackle, and just be a really good fullback defender. And I think in attack, it's okay, but has Averillo got the ball playing ability to be a good 5'8"? Can he complement Kyle Flanagan well enough? I don't know. I have question marks on Averillo at 5'8". He could prove me wrong here, but I see Jack Averillo as a centre or something. I'm a little bit surprised that he's named to play 5'8", and I was told that he wasn't back to round 3, so I'm not even convinced he'll even play this weekend against Newcastle, but I don't know about that decision. So, I guess the other few surprises for the Bulldogs, Brandon Wakeham's not even in the 17, which surprises me a little bit. I know they've got that young school teacher on debut, Bradley.
Yeah.
What's his last name? Bradley Dietz. So wish him all the best. I hope he goes well. But
Dietz.
I don't know, man. Jake Averillo at 5'8", I'm not sold on it. I don't know. You might have a different opinion, but I'm not sold on it. I'm really not.
Yeah, I think the backline for Bulldogs is better than Newcastle's in my opinion, but I think the forward pack's definitely not as great as the Knights one. I think Knights definitely have a better forward pack for sure. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how also Sione Katoa or being out. He needs to step. I guess the first position in the team somewhere. And what's it good? Yeah, that Bradley Dietz guy. I mean, I don't know too much about him, but obviously I've heard that it's definitely a long time coming since since making his debut. So good luck to him, I guess. And like you were saying about Jack Averillo, I think Averillo, he's got talent. I think he's a long-term centre. But yeah, look, I think he will go all right 5'8", but my preference would be also Brendan Wakeham because I think that he has a little bit of potential, a little bit more, I guess, better kicking game than what Averillo may have. But I guess Friday after, and I'll show what's the difference for. I guess if Averillo is a better option than Wakeham at that 5'8" role.
Yeah. Look, I agree. Look, I think it's going to be interesting. But before we move on to the next team surprise selection, do you think Chris Smith was hard done by, and this run of a Tony guy is getting a run? Do you think Chris Smith got a bit snobbed here?
Personally, I don't think so. I think Smith's a definitely front player, but I think he hasn't really proven much to me, in my opinion. But he definitely seems to give it a go. I mean, Bulldogs have like 1,000 back rowers already, so yeah, I guess he's become. I think he's one of the unlucky ones. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, I think.
Yeah, but I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think Chris Smith should be on the bench over that other kid. What's his name? Renoff. So I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens. But let's move on to the next game with a couple of surprise inclusions here between the Broncos and the Eels. So we'll start with the Broncos. Now the big one is obviously Tom Dearden. He is not in the 17. He is an 18th man, which is a little bit of a surprise. Now look, let me just start by saying, now the Broncos apparently see Tom Dearden as their future halfback, which I think is fine. I think he's a very good young kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's still young, still developing. But if you're going to say to a guy like Tom Dearden, we are going to put our trust in you, we think you are the future, you're going to lead us around the park. And he's not even in the 17. They're going with Brady Croft, and we all know how that went last year. So I don't know, man. Tom Dearden, Brody Croft over Tom Dearden. What are your thoughts on that? I really don't know.
it's a bit unfair on Tom Dean. You know what I've heard from the whole preseason, Tom Dean will get the first crack at the starting 7 role, and Brody Croft will be the guy who starts in reserves, and this is kind of last second as well. I mean, for Tom Dean to think all preseason that he's a halfback position locked, and then as soon as team lists come out on Tuesday, Brody Croft starting at halfback instead. I guess it's a bit disappointing for Tom. I think knowing that he had most of the position locked up, but it's a bit unfair for Tom Dean, I reckon. But I think Brody Croft, nothing special. I don't think he should have ever left Melbourne, in my opinion. So the better choice would have been Tom, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. 100%. We'll move on from that because there isn't any other surprises in the Broncos team. That shocks me too much. The Parramatta team. Now, look, obviously Michael Jennings is unavailable now because of that whole drug scandal situation that's happened. So Michael Jennings can't play, and they've gone with Tom Opacek in the centres, and they've got Hayes Dunster and Jordan Rankin in the reserves. Do you think Tom Opacek deserved to get the nod over Hayes Dunster and Jordan Rankin? Sorry about the connection, guys. I know we've got a bit of a connection issue. I think NRL Vid 090's internet's been playing up all week, so hopefully this doesn't cut out. If it does, we might have to turn the cameras off and just do it that way. So hopefully NRL Vid 090 is still on the line. Are you still there, bro? His screen's gone all frozen. So I just wait for him to come back. His connection cut out, so we'll still continue with it live. But look, I think. Oh, here we go. What's going on here? We got a black screen. Waiting. Are you there, bro?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to turn the cameras off?
A bit funny there.
Do you want to turn the cameras off and make it? Do you reckon it'll make a difference if we turn the cameras off?
If you want to, but I'd say just leave it.
All right, we'll leave it for now. But if it cuts out like that again, we'll just bloody turn the cameras off. If it does that again. But anyway, back to the Tom Opacek thing. Do you think he should be starting over Rankin and Dunster?
No, I think Hayes Dunster has more potential than Tom Opacek. I think the only time I really rated Tom Opacek was when he was playing with Carl Felt with the Cowboys in 2019, where I think around the middle of the season in 2019, Opacek and Carl Felt had that decent combination. That was the only time I really rated Opacek there. But yeah, look, I don't think Opacek should start over either Hayes Dunster and that, because I think Tom Opacek needs to prove him. He hasn't much game Parramatta yet. I think Hayes Dunster showed a bit more than Tom Opacek. I think Dunster deserves a crack. I think he's got more potential in my opinion, but I guess I'm not the coach. I'm not the coach at the end of the day, so we'll see how Brad Arthur how Brad Arthur sorts this out if play well.
Yeah. Look, I think this would have been the perfect game to give Hayes Dunster his second game. This would have been perfect. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Opacek goes okay. He has a crack. He defends all right. He can't attack for his life. I feel like this would have been a perfect. Excuse me. This would have been a perfect game for Hayes Dunster. Now he's up against a couple of weakest son. He's up against Tessie New, who's not really familiar to that position. So, I feel like this would have been perfect for Tom Opacek. Hayes Dunster. So, I'm a little bit surprised there. And I guess the last one we'll talk about with the Parramatta side is, should Joey Lussick be on the bench over Will Smith?
Yeah, you should. I think Joey Lussick, if you don't watch the Super League, I reckon you should. I think if you watch Joey Lussick's Super League highlights, he definitely looks better than what Will Smith is. I think Joey Lussick has more promise and potential. I mean, Will Smith actually did all right in matches, I thought, but I think Joe is definitely an option than Smith there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Joey Lussick is a better player than Will Smith is. Will Smith's pretty ordinary in my opinion. So anyway, we'll move on now. We'll go on to the Warriors and the. Oh, what the heck happened there? You there, Lorenzo? The heck?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
No idea what happened there.
I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah, the connection's all over the shop. We might have to just turn the cameras off in a minute if this keeps playing up, but we'll see how we go for another couple minutes. If it cuts out again like that, we'll just use the audio, I reckon. With the Warriors and the Gold
yeah,
Coast game, with the Warriors in the Gold Coast game, are you surprised that Josh Curran did not make the bench? Because there was a lot of talk about Bunty Afel not playing, but they went with Bunty Afel over Josh Curran. Are you a bit surprised about that decision?
To be honest, not really. I think Bunty Foa and Josh Curran are pretty similar players in my opinion. Can both play, both are front rows and can both play the back row and lock positions. So I don't think it's a big surprise. I mean, maybe because, maybe it can be a little bit surprising because Bunty Foa has not played a game since 2019, and
Yeah.
Josh Curran's played more games since then than Foa. To be honest, there isn't much difference between the two in the end.
Yeah, look, obviously I was at the trial game between the Titans and the Warriors here in Lismore, and I thought Josh Curran was one of the best players on the field. So I think Josh Curran deserved to make the bench over Bunty Afel, but not much we can do about that. But anyway, we'll move on to the Gold Coast. See if there's any surprises in their team. I don't think there was. I don't think there was any shocks with the Gold Coast. Before I get into that, guys in the chat, you guys that are watching the live stream, is there a connection problem between me and NRL Vid 090? If there is, let us know. We might just have to use the audio. I'm just curious what you guys are experiencing because you guys would know more than me and Lorenzo. But with the Gold Coast and the New Zealand game, bro, with the
Yeah,
Gold Coast players, are you surprised that they went with Corey Thompson over Philip Semi?
yeah, I am actually. I think that was a bit of a shock in my opinion. I think Philip Sammy's a bit more dangerous than Corey Thompson is, but I think Corey Thompson's a bit more reliable in terms of defence and all
Yeah,
that. But I think I would, I would have went with Philip Sammy over Corey Thompson, but not much you can do now. But I just think maybe leaving Sammy overall out of the team is a little bit surprising me. Just at least Sammy can score tries. He's played Origin before, and it comes as a little bit of surprise to me. But yeah, look, I mean that's up to Holbrook, I guess, and the rest of the Tides squad if that's what they want to do, for this week.
yeah. Yeah, 100%, 100%, bro. Also, the other surprise in that Gold Coast team is Herman Esiesi left out of the 17. What are your thoughts on that? I'm very surprised that Herman Esiesi is not in the 17.
Yeah, that's weird. I think he should be there. I think SCSA is a really good player. They come off bench. He provides a lot of impact. Obviously, um, yeah, that is surprising. I think having Jamin Jalifi and Sam Lasoni over him is a bit of a joke in my opinion. I think Sam
Yeah,
Lasoni isn't really that great. I think he's nothing more than a casual than a what's it called in and out first grader. Like you just casually fit in first grade, but mainly a reserve grader. Damon
yeah,
Jalifi, I don't know why everyone thinks Damon Jalifi should be starting at prop. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say Damon Jalifi starting prop and should be finding a spot in the team. Like should be starting and like all these fans rate him. But I mean, I don't know what to go with that. I don't even think he's that special to be honest.
yeah. Look, I think, well, obviously with Herman Esiesi out of the side, and I've got Peachy and Aaron Clark on the bench. That probably means that Tyrone Peachy will come on and play lock when he comes on the field, and Aaron Clark will go to dummy half for Mitch Rain. That's what I'm guessing. But look, I think Herman Esiesi should be in there over Jamin Jolliffe, but Justin Holbrook's the coach. We'll see what kind of decisions he has there. But let's move on to the next game, bro. It's the big game for you anyway. It's the Roosters up against the Seagulls. Now, the only real surprise in this game is Lindsay Collins starting over Jared Roberts-Hargreaves. Are you surprised about that, or is Trent Robinson playing funny buggers and he's going to start Hargreaves before kickoff? What do you reckon?
I think that was a bit of a surprise actually. I wasn't really expecting to see Warrior Hargreaves to start off the bench. Maybe because Lindsay Collins has impressed in the preseason and has won the start for the starting prop position, or just because maybe Hargreaves can provide some experience off the bench and bring some quality possibly. Or but I was a little bit surprised by that actually.
Yeah, look, I think Lindsay Collins' performance in State of Origin last year and the development of Lindsay Collins, and I think it's a smart decision to start him over Hargreaves. Now, Hargreaves still a fantastic player, but he's getting to the back end of his career now. He's got plenty of experience. I think he will be good for the bench, for the younger players on the bench, the likes of Daniel Fafita and Adam Kieran, Hargreaves on the bench for the first 20 minutes or so, just trying to tell these young kids like Daniel Salakar Fafita and Adam Kieran, basically saying to him, look, you guys just need to go out there and do your job and just do what Trent Robinson told you to do and just listen to the trainer. So, I think Hargreaves will be good for the bench for experience-wise, and the impact of Hargreaves for the bench is always going to be very good for the Roosters. Now, let's move on to your side. The Manly Warringah Seagulls. My boy, oh boy. Dylan Walker, the fullback. This is something that I wanted to see a few weeks ago when I was talking to you on Instagram in our group chat that we got, and I said Dylan Walker at fullback would be the best option because he's the only outside back there besides Tom Trbojevic who is a ball-playing fullback or who has ball-playing ability. So, what are your thoughts on Dylan Walker named at fullback for Manly?
I was never expecting it actually. I thought it was going to be Morgan Harper, but maybe gone with Dylan Walker because maybe he reckons he can match Tedesco, which I doubt anyway. But maybe because he's experienced, he obviously has a bit of speed, skill about him, which people forget. I mean, people just forget about Walker's skill and how he's won premierships. He's played for Australia. It's because of all the drama. Obviously, people forget that. They have short-term memory loss. I think that's what people have Dylan Walker's opinion.
Short-term memory.
Yeah, but look, he's a fantastic player. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think Dylan Walker's a fantastic player, in my opinion. I think, if he's consistent, he can be one of the best centers in the game. But in this case, he's going to be playing fullback. A big fan of, but at least he has the ball skills because he's played 5 out before. So he should be all right in that position, I think.
Yeah, look, I think Dylan Walker's going to play a similar role to what Dylan Edwards' roles. I think Dylan Walker's going to play a similar role to what Dylan Edwards does at Penrith. So obviously at Penrith, you've got Luai and you've got Cleary. Now they're going to run the side and set up all the tries. Dylan Edwards' job at Penrith is to just run the ball, pass out wide to a winger or center if needed. Dylan Walker has the ability to go at the line and throw a cutout ball to a winger, or maybe go a short ball to Jajeski or Ciro. So I think Dylan Walker definitely has the ability to be a fullback. But the thing with Dylan Walker, the challenge for him, he needs to be able to get himself in position. So defensively, when Kiri has a kick downfield, or when Tedesco or Lachlan Lamb kick the ball, or Jake Brennan dummy up, Dylan Walker needs to be in position to get the ball. I've seen him in the past play fullback where the ball's gone behind him. He's let in a few 40-20s. If Dylan Walker can get himself right in defensive situations, I think he'll do fantastic there. But it's only until Turbo comes back and hopefully Dylan Walker can do a job. And I suppose the other surprise for the team list, I guess there's only other 2 surprises really. Your favourite mate, Lachlan Croker at dummy half. What are your thoughts on this decision?
Oh, no. Oh, I feel disgusted. I think when I saw the team list, I went to go and get a bucket because I was like, I was just going for the team for Manly real quickly, and I was like, when I saw his name come up, you gotta be kidding me, you fucking kidding me when I saw him there. Um, I just think that it's really weird because I think Kate Cuss is the better hooker. I think has more attacking what Lachlan Croker does. I think Lachlan Croker is nothing more than probably nothing more than a water boy in my opinion. I don't think he's good enough to be a NRL player. I think he's just nothing more than yeah. He doesn't have the qualities to be a first grader, obviously. And I think that you know, like I was supposed to say before, actually, I'm giving Lachlan Croker 4 rounds. Yeah, that's right, 4 rounds, 4 rounds to prove himself. And
4 rounds.
if he plays
Wow.
well for those 4 rounds, he yeah, if he plays 4 rounds, I might stay a little bit easy on him. But if he really fails, then that's when I'm gonna rant a lot, and that's when I'm gonna probably make a petition for him to get out of the team and put Kate Cuss at hooker instead. That's what I'll do. And what's the other thing? I think also his game could benefit a little bit by playing behind Four and Cherry M's maybe because he could be behind them and Four and Cherry M's could guide him. But look, Saturday's going to be interesting then.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting. I suppose the other decision for Manly was a little bit of a surprise to me. Josh Schuster missing out on the 17, so he's obviously going to be the backup half or maybe come in the bench later on. But I have heard a rumour that later on in the game, if Manly are losing or if things aren't going well, they're going to pull the switch. So they're talking about putting Dylan Walker to 5'8", Kieran Foran to hooker, um, Ruben Garrick to fullback, and Tavita Funa on the wing. There is a rumor of that happening, so hopefully that doesn't happen because I don't want to see Foran at hooker. But do you think Josh Schuster should be on the bench at least?
I reckon he should be on the bench at least, but I can see the reason why Des left me on the side though. I think he should be off the bench at least. Shoot, I mean, he's got a lot of talent. He's a bit, I think he's the next best thing for me. I think, but I think you can't really throw him in the side ahead of Kieran Four at 5'8" because what happens if Manly lose? That could damage his confidence maybe as a young player. You still want
Yeah.
to risk a young rookie with potential against a champion side team. That's the only thing I'm thinking. But I guess Schuster will bide his time and eventually get some more game time this year in 2021. I'm sure of it for Manly. I think at this stage, I think the best for Manly is having Four and Cherry Evans together. I think that's the best thing that should work. I mean, both of them have played together many times before. I think Schuster has also said previously that he's more than happy to wait in reserves and wait for the time for him to come if he wants to be picked by Des in the Manly team. So,
Yeah.
look, man's a bit left out, but I see the logic and the reasoning why Des has chosen to leave him out.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Let's move on to the next game. So obviously it's the other game on the Saturday night, the main event on Saturday night, a 7:30 game down there at Panthers Stadium, the Panthers and the Cowboys. Now, for the Panthers, not really any surprises in that 17, so we don't really need to go through them at all because they're pretty much full strength. So there
No.
isn't really any surprises there. Now, to the Cowboys team, now look, there is a rumor going around that Lachlan Bird will be in the 17. He'll be on the bench over Ruben Cotter. So, do you think Lachlan Bird should be on the bench for Ruben Cotter, or do you think Cotter should be as that on the bench as well? What are your thoughts on that decision?
I put Lachlan Bird over Ruben Cotter, but um, it's been interesting actually because I think Ruben Cotter can play a bit of as well and a bit of hooker. So I guess if there's injuries, I guess he can play a bit of hooker. But they also have Jake Granville off the bench, so that's interesting how having three hookers in the team works. But yeah, I guess with Tamalolo probably having limited time now, I think he'll come on at lock, possibly let Ruben Cotter and do a good job like he did in the All Stars game when he was playing a bit of lock from
Yeah.
memory.
Well,
Having Lachlan Bird.
yeah. Look, looking at the Cowboys bench, I don't know how you're going to give Tamalolo less minutes when you don't really have that other forward to come on and do a job. Are you going to play Ruben Cotter for half an hour at lock? I mean, I don't know what the go is with that, but I think Lachlan Bird would be a better option because he's at hard four. He'll come on and just make an impact and do a job. So a little bit surprised there. So, obviously we'll do a preview on the games very soon. So there's not much to really talk about in the Panthers-Cowboys game except that. But Raiders and the West Tigers, we'll have a look at the Raiders if there's any changes here for the Green Machine. Not really many surprises, but are you surprised that Ryan James got the nod over Emre Gula?
Not really. I think. Maybe some sort of. Ryan James hasn't played a game since April 2019, and Emre Gula's played more games than him since then. But no, I think Ryan James is more experienced. Obviously, he's proven a lot more than what Emre Gula has. But no disrespect to Emre Gula. I think he's a good young kid coming up. But I think Ryan James is a better decision to go with. I believe. But it'll be good to see Ryan James back in action again. Obviously, it's been like a long layoff since he's played, and hopefully he can go well. And I don't know how long it's been since he's played a game, but it's been a long time. So I hope he goes well.
Yeah, look, I would have preferred Emre Gula over Ryan James. I think Ryan James needs to prove himself to get back to NRL level. He hasn't been playing for the last 2 years due to ACL injuries. So I feel like Ryan James just getting picked over Emre Gula is a little bit disrespectful to Emre Gula. I think Ryan James needs to prove himself in lower grades first. So, I'm not surprised that Ryan James got in the side, but it'd be interesting to see how he goes. But if he has a shocking game, Canberra got so much depth in the forwards. If you have a bad game, you'll be dropped in a heartbeat and someone else will come in. So, not really any surprises there with the Raiders outside of that. But as for the West Tigers, bro, are you surprised that Russell Packer made the bench over Michael Cheekham?
Yeah, I am surprised actually. I think
Me too.
Russell Packer doesn't really provide. I think he's more of some sort of passenger player. Doesn't really provide much. He's just there taking the spots. I think Michael Cheekham's more of a versatile player that would probably be what Russell Packer would be. I guess Packer's experienced and all that, but he's not that great anymore, Russell Packer. Let's face it. He's just that average front rower that would probably do his job, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I think she could cover more positions, and I think it's a bit wrong having Packer in the team instead.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. If I was the West Tigers, what I would have done with this West Tigers team going into this weekend against Canberra. So obviously they've got a few players out still and stuff like that. What I would have done, I would have put Michael Cheekham on the bench. I would have put Tommy Talau over Asa Kapoa. I would have put that Jack Madden kid at 5'8" and put Mbai to Hooker and Jacob Little maybe on the bench. That's what I would have done. But Russell Packer, I don't even know how he has a contract still. I don't know how he has a contract. I really don't know. Pretty average player.
God knows.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, let's move on to the last game. So the Dragons up against the Sharks. The big rivalry game Sunday night. Now, just so you guys know, because I haven't really announced it yet, I will be live streaming probably 2 games this weekend. I want to live stream Newcastle versus Canterbury and maybe this game, St. George versus Cronulla. So I do want to live stream a couple of games of the weekend. It might be those 2 games. So thought I'd let you guys know about that. But for the Dragons, bro, I guess there's a couple of surprises in that team. I guess you could say, Jackson Ford not making the 17. I thought he was going to be the back rower. What are your thoughts on Jackson Ford making the side? Not making the side.
Yeah, I think he should definitely. I think he's a hard-working player. Most of the season I've heard he'd be the new replacement for Tyson Frizzell, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Seems like Josh Kerr is replacing Frizzell. No, I would have had Jackson Ford in the team. I think Ford's a solid young player. I think he was a bit unlucky to miss out for a spot there, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Look, I'll tell you what, the Dragons are in all sorts. They got issues all over the bloody shop at the moment. Here's what I would have done. Now, I would have had Jackson Ford at back row, I would have had Josh Kerr front row with Paul Vaughan. I would have had Blake Laurie go to lock, and I would have had him go to the bench, and then I would have done that, I reckon. That's what I probably would have done. But, I've got to say, with the other thing with the Dragons is I feel sorry for Jordan Pereira. He's been left out of the 17. He's in the reserves. Now, the Dragons see Cody Ramsey as a really good young kid coming through, and don't get me wrong, he is a good kid coming through, but to pick a rookie over someone like Jordan Pereira, who was very good last year, got the sets rolling and did a good job, I kind of feel sorry for Jordan Pereira. What about you?
Yeah, a little bit, a bit unfortunate for him, I guess. I think Pereira, he's not the most athletic winger. He's not the most fastest winger, but he definitely is a pretty solid player. That can do the job. He seems to always provide. Can score a try from somewhere. He's a bit unlucky. I think Cody's pretty good as well, and I think Ramsey definitely should go well this weekend. But I guess Pereira is one of the unlucky ones, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him, bro. And the last team that we'll talk about is the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Now, obviously, the big one here, which really shocked me on Tuesday afternoon yesterday when the team list came out. Andrew Fafita left out of the 17. He is going to be wearing jersey number 20.
Yeah.
He at this stage, he is in the reserves now. I don't know if he has an injury. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the go is. He must have some sort of niggle injury. I've got no idea. But Fafita not in the 17, I'm a little bit surprised about this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I find it surprising actually. I think he's definitely one of them. He's one of their most experienced forwards. So leaving would be a shock in my opinion. And also and yeah, look, I don't know. That's a bit surprising, but maybe he does have a niggling injury, like you said. So that's
Tough one, isn't
probably
it?
the case.
Tough one.
That's why. Yeah, it is a tough one to actually get a read on whether he's been either dropped or just has a little injury. But I would have had him somewhere at least. I mean, I'd have him probably maybe off the bench instead of Aiden Tolman or instead of who's the other guy, Royce Hunt. Is he playing in the team? I would have maybe
Royce Hunt's there, I believe. Yeah,
had him over them or one of them.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you
for
what I would
sure.
have done, bro. I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have left Jack Williams out of the team completely. I wouldn't have had Jack Williams in the side. Now, that might be a tough one, but look, Fafita's got experience.
Oh, that's fair then. I think Williams.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. You need Fafita in the team somewhere for experience. And I got to say, the other one who I thought was unlucky was Teague Wilton. He had a few games last year, Teague Wilton. He actually impressed me. I'd have him over Billy Magoulias, even though Billy Magoulias should be playing more games. But I would have had Teague Wilton over him first.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen too much from Teague Wilson, but I have heard some good things about him. So, and also he's a back rower or front rower.
Yeah, he's in. Something like that. Yeah, he's in the forwards. Yeah.
Like, does he play back row or front row?
Back row, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll look
All right.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the last topic. Bro. So we're gonna go through the round of footy now. I'm so excited for this. Every week we'll be doing this, bro. Our tips, our preview. Now we're not just gonna sit here and go, oh, we're gonna go this team. We're actually gonna break down the game and just see where we think teams can win the game and lose the game and how to win the game. So obviously the first game, it all kicks off tomorrow night in about 24 hours from now. The Melbourne Storm up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs down there at Amy Park. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock. The Rabbitohs are now favourites, believe it or not. They're $1.85 favourites now. The Melbourne Storm are in the $1.95 favourites. So everyone's chucking all their money on the Rabbitohs, even though that they're not looking at the history of the game between these two sides. So, Melbourne versus Souths. Lorenzo, how do you see the Melbourne Storm winning this game?
I'd say I can win through maybe right up and how a month goes to Melbourne Storm. win this game. Pappenhausen back, always involved, and with Munster, his kicking has to be on. They're a chance, and I'd say South will be up for it.
Yeah, look, I think for the Melbourne Storm to win, I think they're going to have to get through their sets, complete their sets, kick down to the corners, put a lot of scoreboard pressure on South, maybe a couple of early penalty goals just to get under the skin of the Rabbitohs because, South Sydney, they're one of those sides where they love to score points, they love attack. If Melbourne make this a low-scoring grind and they get out to like maybe a 8 to 10-0 lead early, they can really put a lot of pressure on South Sydney. And I think for Melbourne to win, it's going to come down to Cameron Munster. If Cameron Munster's kicking game is on point, and if Brendan Smith does what he does best at dummy half, and Melbourne just frustrates South Sydney and slow down the ruck, I think Melbourne will get the job done. So, I think that's how Melbourne win. How do you see the Rabbitohs winning this game, Lorenzo? Are you there, Lorenzo? The connection? Are you there, bro? Don't tell me we've got another connection problem. Are you there, bro?
Yeah.
All right, you're back. Hopefully it doesn't cut out. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you heard what I said, but how do you see the South Sydney Rabbitohs winning against Melbourne?
Yeah, I am.
Sorry about the connection, guys. It's just internet these days. Internet's not good.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go.
What was the question again? Sorry.
The question was, how do you see the South Sydney Rabbitohs beating Melbourne? How do you see them breaking them down and beating Melbourne down there?
I could probably they need about their best if their chance of winning. Also, probably Damien Cook needs to run the ball. He needs to target that middle and tie them out. But I mean, with the Storms middle, they're not that they're pretty good. Maybe target cool. Target Remus Smith. Remus Smith didn't really do that great in this. In the
Are you there, bro? I can barely hear a word you're saying. The connection your end is not too good tonight. Sorry about the connection, guys. It happens from time to time. There's nothing you can really do about it. Are you there, Lorenzo? NRL Vid 090. Are you there, brother? Are you there, Lorenzo? Oh, he cut out. All right. I'm just going to give it a minute and try and get him back on. It's just sometimes you just have a connection problem, which there's nothing you can really do about it. So I am sorry about the connection, guys. But I think it's going to be a cracking game on Thursday night between Melbourne and South Sydney. So give us a minute. We'll try and get Lorenzo back on the call. Here he is. Add to stream. Connecting. Come on, internet. Don't be a bitch. Come on. I think NRL Bids on Under is having connection problems tonight. So I am sorry about that, guys. Are you there, bro?
Can you hear me now?
You there, bro? Yeah, that's a lot better now. You sound a lot better now. Yeah, just
good.
the connection, I guess. Nothing you can do about it, bro. So all good. But it's just what's that?
No, just apologies for that. It's a bit glitchy tonight.
Yeah, it's all right, bro. I'm sure. I think next week we'll try and fix it up next week. It should be all good. But anyway, look, in my opinion, the way the Rabbitohs have to beat Melbourne tomorrow night is they have to get to an early lead. Scoreboard pressure against the Melbourne Storm is key. Now, South Sydney have never won at Amy Park.
Yeah.
It's a very tough place to win. Here's the thing for Souths. If they can get out to an 8 to 10 0 lead early, it'll put a lot of pressure on the likes of Munster and Brendan Smith and Jerome Hughes and all these sort of players. Now, Melbourne are a sort of side, they hate being behind. South Sydney, if they get in front early, look out, because I'm telling you, the Melbourne Storm, they really struggle if you get in front of them early. If Souths get to a 10 0 lead, Melbourne could fall to pieces, especially without Cameron Smith. So for the Rabbitohs to win, you got to play smart, you got to play safe, you got to control the side, control the game, and just be patient. If you panic and freak out about being down 6-0 against Melbourne, they'll blow you off the park by 30. So if our Souths get to an early lead, scoreboard pressure, and just slow the game down at their speed. So that's how I think Souths are going to beat Melbourne. Do you agree with that? NRL Vid 090?
Yeah, I do. I think you explained it really well there. I think that's the way Souths are going to try and play tomorrow night if that's ever a chance. So yeah, I think you've explained it well there actually.
So before we move on to the next game, who is your tip for Melbourne versus Souths?
Are you there, Nick?
Yeah, bro, I'm here. Are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what is your tip for the Storm versus Rabbitohs game on Thursday night?
Say it again. Couldn't hear you. Sorry.
No, you're right, bro. What is your tip for the Melbourne Souths game on Thursday night?
I've got Melbourne winning 20 points to 14, and my man in the match will be Cameron.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. I've got the Storm winning by 6 points. I think they'll be a little bit too good down there at Amy Park. First game. Obviously, the Cameron Smith and Billy Slater's statue reveal was today. So if any club handles, all these sort of big celebration things the best, it's obviously the Melbourne Storm. So I reckon the Storm will win by 6 points, and it should be a cracking game. Now let's move on to the next game here on Friday night at 6 o'clock down there at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. The Knights up against the Bulldogs. The Knights are favourites here at $1.50, and the Bulldogs are outsiders here at $2.60. Lorenzo, how do you see Newcastle beating Canterbury on Friday night?
It's gonna be with Mitchell Pearce and probably their forward pack. I think Mitchell Pearce needs to steer the team around if they're a chance. Obviously there's no Ponga, which makes it a little bit harder on Pearce, but Pearce is the halfback, so he needs to kind of control that Newcastle Knights team. And I think the forward pack also, obviously if you've got Clemmers, the side of Fedes, Mitchell Barnett and Frizzell. Got all those sort of guys there. I think the forward pack should definitely dominate through the middle, and just it's better than the Bulldogs forward pack, that's for sure. So yeah, look, I can see the Knights winning off the back of probably just Mitchell Pearce and his controlled kicking game and just the way he plays. And it's gonna be interesting to see if Kurt Mann is good foil for Mitchell Pearce. But yeah, look, I think that's the way they're gonna have to win on Friday.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I really do. Look, Kurt Mann is a concern. At 5'8", he just doesn't pass the ball. He just plays like a bit of an imposter. Doesn't pass the ball much. But look,
Yeah.
I think for the Knights to win, I think you nailed it on the coffin. Mitchell Pearce's kicking game is very crucial to how the Knights go. Jaden Bradley comes back in the side for the Knights at dummy half. He's back from an ACL reconstruction. So I think if Jaden Bradley combines with Mitchell Pearce, and if Mitchell Pearce can get some good service off a really good platform with the likes of Safedi, Clemmer, and Frizzell, Barnett, if they can lay a good platform for the likes of Pearce and Tex Hoy to do some good stuff around the back, I think Newcastle can win this game. And I've got them winning by 10 points. It should be a tight game, but I think for Newcastle to win, it comes down to their forward pack and Mitchell Pearce's game management. And I think if they do all that right and they just stay calm and composed and do all the small things right, like making an effort to get back on side and making an effort in defence, I think the Knights will be too good for the Dogs there. But How do you see the Bulldogs beating Newcastle, bro?
Yeah, look, I think well, I think the Dogs just need to play well. I think the Dogs need to just the back line's obviously gonna be important. I can see I think Bulldogs win by 4 points. I think it's gonna be the upset. Um,
Yep,
yeah, I just think if for how the Bulldogs need to win, I think it's like with Kyle Flanagan and Jake Avrilla, they need to both combine pretty well to have a chance in this game, and also probably at hooker as well. I mean, I don't know much about Bradley Dietz, but he's got to do a job as well, coming off the bench when Katoa gets tired. So it's just
yep.
gonna be one of those things where they gotta get the combinations right for this game. So if they're a chance at all, but no, I think they'll be Red Dogs. I think they've got a bit more of a better team than Knights do in this game. But the forward pack's obviously better than the Knights. Forward pack's better than the Bulldogs. But I mean, to be honest, it's not much different between the two teams. But I'd say Bulldogs are the upset in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think the Bulldogs are a good chance to knock off Newcastle. My biggest concern for the Bulldogs going into this weekend is combinations. Corey Allen, new fullback, Avarillo at 6, Flanagan at 7, Katoa at 9. It's a brand new spine, so they got to combine. They got to gel. Combinations on either side have got to work. Kyle Flanagan and Bailey Sirden. Not Bailey Sirden. What's his name? Corey Waddell. They got to
Yeah.
combine well. I just feel like the Bulldogs combinations, if they all click well and start well in round one, the Bulldogs are really good at completing that set. So if the Bulldogs do all that, and if they back their defense and do a job, then the Bulldogs can win the game. Now, I think if it becomes a high-scoring game like a 24-16 sort of game, then I think the Knights win. But if the Bulldogs make it a grind, like a 10-6 or a 16-12, then I can see Canterbury winning this game. But look, I think this game could go either way. I think the Bulldogs have to win through their defense, and if they can complete their sets well, and if Kyle Flanagan's game management is on point. But because it's a new spine, combinations with a lot of new players there, I think the Knights win by 10, but I would not be shocked if Canterbury did win.
No, I agree. I agree. Nothing less, but I don't think. Look, I think this game won't be anything but big scoring. I think it's going to be a pretty gritty, sort of low scoring game. I think it's going to be off the back of probably defense for this game. I mean,
Yeah.
it has potential. This game has potential to be a free flowing sort of game full of points, but I'd say it's going to be a little bit tighter. I think, but yeah, I can't wait for it. I think it should be interesting to see how the Bulldogs' new recruits go and how Frizzell goes
Yeah.
for Knights.
All right. So before we go to the next game, what's your tip for the game? Knights Bulldogs. What's your tip?
Yeah, well, I've got Bulldogs for the upset. I think they'll win 18-14. I think my man of the match. Yeah, my man of the match will probably be. You know what? I think the man of the match will be Kyle Flanagan. I think Kyle Flanagan's going to see the Bulldogs team to win. I think he's going to have a good one. I reckon.
I like it, bro. I'm going the opposite here. So, I mean, you're going different for this game. I'm going the Knights by 10. I think home field advantage. Bulldogs combination still got to combine. It's not going to click in one game. So, I got the Knights winning here by 10, but it should be a very good game. Now, the other game on the Friday night up there at Suncorp Stadium at 8 o'clock, the Broncos up against the Eels. The Eels are favourites here at $1.30, and the Broncos are outsiders here at $3.45. Lorenzo, how do you see the Broncos winning this game against Parramatta?
I think early on we're going to see the Eels probably attack well through Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown, and like I've heard and like you've told me before that Dylan Brown, Mitchell Moses are going to be switching sides. So like on one
Yes.
side, Dylan Brown's going to be with Wagga Blake, and then the other side, Mitchell Moses will be with what's his name, Tom Opachik. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all kind of goes, I guess. So I think hopefully Broncos turn up. I mean, obviously, it's been after a terrible year in 2020, they'll be looking to improve in 2021. So we'll see how it all goes, and you know, if Kevin Waltz can, I guess change anything different at the Broncos this year. I think the Eels will be too good. I think if Mitchell
Yeah.
Moses can be consistent, if Moses can play a good game, and if Dylan Brown can also just provide some, I guess excellence during the game. I think Eels should win 26 points to 18, but I think Broncos will turn up. I really think Broncos will turn up for their first game at home this year.
Yeah. Look, I think for the Broncos to win, they're gonna have to start well. It's simple as that. They need to get some scoreboard pressure on the Eels, And I guess the other thing too for the Broncos is as well, Parramatta's edge defense last year, the outside backs and the second row, that area, Parramatta were very vulnerable last year on the edges. So the Broncos need to attack Parramatta's edges and test out the edge defense for Parramatta. And I think if they can do that, they could cause an upset. It's definitely possible. I'm not going to stand here and say that Broncos have got no chance. They are a legitimate chance. Any team wins
Yeah, they
this
are.
weekend. So I think for Brisbane to win, they got to start well, maybe get out to an 8-10-0 lead early, put some scoreboard pressure on the Eels. Just do all the little things right, complete your sets. Listen to Kevin Walters. He's a new coach of the Broncos. And, this game is one of the most intriguing of the round. Last year's Wooden Spooners up against a team that went out in straight sets last year. So for the Broncos to win, I think it's early scoreboard pressure, get through their sets, back each other, trust each other on either side, grab your mate next to you, look him in the eye and say, mate, I'm here for you today. I'm gonna work my ass off for you. I'm gonna do a job. So the Broncos, they need to start well. If Parramatta get out to a 10-12-0 lead early, it could be 58-0 all over again. So the Broncos have to start well to be any chance, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I actually agree there. Really, I think
All right,
you
let's
explained
move
well
on.
again there.
How do you see Parramatta beating the Broncos? How do you see them breaking them down?
I guess probably if through the halves, I reckon Dylan Brown, Mitchell Moses, and he'd be at the best if they're going to beat the Broncos. I mean, maybe Broncos have some inexperienced combinations on the edge. I mean, Herbie Farnworth obviously is not really that fit from what I've heard because he's had an injury at training or
Yeah,
something. So maybe they'll target him for a bit. And I think all you can target Tessie New. I mean, Tessie New is still pretty young and he hasn't played much games. So I guess Mitchell Moses or Dylan Brown have to get the ball out wide to target the edges for the Broncos. In my opinion, that's how I think the points will come for Parramatta.
yeah. I'll tell you what. Obviously, no Payne Haas and Katoni Staggs, so huge outs for Brisbane. If Parramatta's four pack with Paulo, Campbell Gillard, if they all run hard through the middle, which I'm pretty sure they will, and you know, I don't want to say this, but for crying out loud, you got to run at Anthony Milford. Ryan Madison apparently is taking on Milford, so if you're watching the live stream and you're 18 years old and up, mate, chuck some money on Ryan Madison to score a try. He is absolute moral to score against Anthony Milford. Look, if Parramatta just complete their sets and do all the little things right, kick pressure, you know, defensive decisions, just play hard for each other. If Parramatta are 80% on and they start well, that'd be too good for Brisbane. I think Parramatta will win and win well on Friday night. But before we go on to the next game, what do you think? Who do you think will win this game? What do you reckon the score will be? What's your tip?
Yeah, so I've got Parramatta to win 26 points to 18, and my man of the match, I reckon Ryan Madison will have a big game. I did say he'll get the first try in my tipping video. He'll get the first try of the match, and I
Yeah,
can see him here. I really, in my opinion.
yeah. Look, I'm with you. I think Parramatta winning. I reckon Parramatta will win well. So I'm going Parramatta to win by 20. I think that'd be too good. They always go well against Brisbane the last couple of years, and so I just can't see Brisbane winning the first game. But you never know; they could surprise us all and cause an upset, which wouldn't shock me that much. But they could do it. But I think Parramatta win and win well here. So I'm going Parramatta by 20 points. Now let's move on to the next game, which is a game that both these sides have got a lot of hype this year. The New Zealand Warriors up against the Gold Coast Titans at Central Coast Stadium at 3 o'clock. The Gold Coast Titans are the favourites here at $1.65, and the Warriors are paying $2.20. Mate, how do you see the Warriors winning this game?
Um, I'd say it's going to be for their forward pack. I think for Noah Blake and what's the other guy, Jermaine Tunua-Brown, they need to step up from the middle and lead the way for the hard like guys like Chanel Harris-Avita. So I mean, I think Chanel Harris-Avita will play really well off the back of that sort of forward pack. I think It's going to be Chanel Harris-Avita who has to see the team for the success, I think, and to win the game. I also think maybe, yeah, like I said before, Fanua Blake and Tanua Brown need to do their job for the middle, and also, I think Tyler Harris in the middle, which I don't think Tyler Harris will do well in the middle, and that. So I think it's through the forward pack mainly the Warriors need to win through by, but other than that, I can see the Warriors winning through Harris-Avita. He can perform really well around the backs and just maybe target Brian Kelly's side because Brian Kelly's a bit of a suspect defender in my opinion, but good attacker. But yeah, that's how I can see Warriors winning the game.
Yeah, look, for me, I think for the Warriors to win, they're going to have to just be patient with the damn football. Last year, when there was games where they just get the ball and they'll throw it around, they'll try and score a try, or tackle 2, tackle 3. Hold the damn ball and get through your sets. Come on, Warriors. Come on.
Yeah,
They have to get through their sets, kick to the damn corners, target AJ Brimson, target their wingers. If Aiden Fanua-Blake can run over the top of, the likes of Tino and all these sort of players, I think the Warriors are a really good chance. I think the Warriors halves are a lot better than the Titans halves. They've got more quality there. I think
sure.
Chanel Harris-Tavita is a better player than Jamal Fogarty will be. And I think Cody Nicarima is better than Ash Taylor. So I think the Warriors, I think they're absolute specials of the round. They're playing $2.30 at the moment. I am declaring the New Zealand Warriors specials of the round. Anyone out there who likes to have a bet, throw some good, decent money on the Warriors. They are absolute specials. The Gold Coast record at Central Coast Stadium is pretty bad. Their record in Sydney overall is shocking. The Warriors have been at Central Coast Stadium since the start of February. The Warriors are absolute specials of the round. If the Warriors just play smart and just kick to the corners, I think they'll win. So the Warriors will win. Always been some Broncos in the chat. The new Freddie in the Eighth is out. I will watch that soon. I can't wait to watch that. I'll go get my bloody. I'll go get my bread rolls and can of Coke and watch that. So I'll watch that later on.
Yeah.
But for the Warriors to win, just play smart and don't be stupid. But mate, how do you see the Titans winning this game? What do you see? What do you think the Titans have to do to beat the Warriors?
Well, I'd say it's going to be off the back of AJ Brimson. I think Brimson's going to have to stand up. I mean, obviously he was one of their best players last year. Around the end of the season, AJ Brimson he needs to I guess kind of show that form again heading to this year. Also, Jamal Fogarty and Ash Taylor, they need both step up as well. I mean, to be honest, I think Jamal Fogarty was carrying Ash Taylor's ass last year, but it's a new year now. We'll see what happens. But I think Ash Taylor needs to be at the top of his game if there are a chance Titans. I think and also the position. I mean, mid train he needs to step up as well. I mean, mid train that great for a while, and I guess he's under a bit of pressure as well. So we'll see how he kind of copes throughout the matches as well. And I guess if he doesn't really play well, look like Aaron Clark off the bench. He's also another hooker, so maybe I think the whole spine has to play well to win this match. I think the spine is important for the Titans for this game, and especially AJ Brimson. I think Brimson needs to have a big game.
Yeah, look, I think for the Titans to win, bro, like you said, the spine needs to step up and be at its best. But let me just say this about the Gold Coast. Now, everyone knows I've got a personal vendetta against the Gold Coast. I hate their guts. I can't stand the club. I don't like them at one bit. But let me just say this. If they're going to rely on Fafita and Tino to do all the hard work and no one else is going to contribute, they're in for a long year if that happens. So if David Fafita and Tino get going, and if they do what they do, and the other players, get momentum off that and just back themselves, then they can win this game. The Warriors are definitely beatable. It's going to be a good game. I think it could go either way. It's a real toss of the coin game. Honestly, you could go and get a bloody $2 coin and flip the coin, and that's your tip for the game. It could go either way. I think for the Titans to win, Fafita, Tino, they'll do their jobs, but the other players like the likes of Fogarty and Ash Taylor, they got to step up and be better. Ash Taylor especially, he's under a lot of pressure. So hopefully he has a big game for his sake. But the Titans need to be smart. if they just go, oh, we'll get the ball to Tino on tackle 1, Fafita tackle 2, Tino tackle 3, Fafita tackle 4. They do that, they're in all sorts. So hopefully all their players around them do a job as well. But I think the Gold Coast can win on the back of completing their sets and just playing smart footy. Just be good. Don't be relying on 2 players. Just rely on your whole 13. Rely on your whole team. So I think it's going to be a good game. But mate, what's your tip for this game?
So I reckon the Warriors will win. I reckon they'll win by 10 points, 20 points to 10. I think, the Warriors will be a bit more stronger in terms of the forwards, I reckon. I think Phil Blake and Tohu Harris will lead by example in this game, and I think it's gonna be a win. It's gonna be a win this week for the Warriors. And like you said before, I mean, Titans don't have a great record in Sydney, so and at the Central Coast, they've never won there before. So that's why I'm backing Warriors in this one.
Yeah, look, I think the Warriors will win by about 10 points as well. Hang on, what did I say? Warriors by 4, I think I said in my tipping video. So, look, I think Warriors by 4. I reckon they're absolute specials of the round. If you have any free money, if you have a free $50 laying around, chuck it on the Warriors. I reckon they're specials of the round. If they lose, then you can abuse me on Instagram or YouTube if you want. But I'm telling you, the Warriors are absolute specials of the round. Now let's move on to the next game on Saturday night at 5:30 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Sydney Roosters versus the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Your team, Manly. Lorenzo, before we get into Manly, how do you see the Roosters beating Manly on Saturday night? How do you see them doing it?
Well, probably off the back of Tedesco. If he can show his brilliance during the game, I guess that would be pretty key, and that would probably help the Roosters win the game if Tedesco plays at his best. I also think maybe Luke Keary as well. Luke Keary and Lachlan Lamb. I mean, Lachlan Lamb's a good kid, but still a little bit unproven in my opinion. So it's going to be a little bit of weight on Luke Keary's shoulders to turn up and try and see the team since he's a halfback. But look, I can mainly see the Roosters winning through the backs. I think the Roosters have a bit more experience, a bit more skill in the backs. Look, I think James Tedesco and Luke Keary are 2 of the most important players for the Roosters in this game, and I think that's where they're going to probably try and win through, I reckon.
Yeah, look, I agree. Look, with the Roosters, I think obviously what they do best, they always seem to start the games well. Josh Morris at the back end of last year was scoring a lot of their first tries. So I think for the Roosters to win is just playing smart football, combining with everyone. They're a very similar team to last year. So, and last year they were a bit tired at the back end of last year, the Roosters. So now they've had a few months off to get ready. They're going to be fresh, ready to go. So, but what I want to see from the Roosters is, I'm not sure if you'll agree with this, but I want to see James Tedesco get the first receiver. I want to see him get more involved. I want to see him be like a second 5'8". How Cameron Smith was at Melbourne and Cameron Smith was first receiver for the Storm and that. I want to see Tedesco get the first receiver and just be a creator, maybe like an extra 5'8". I want to see Tedesco kick more. I want to see him do more things with his game, which I think would be frightening. But I think if the Roosters just do what they do best and, they just, if they get back on side real quick and they just do all the little things right, I think the Roosters will win. But, I think it comes down to the halves of Keary, and if Tedesco does what he does at the best and Takiyaho does what he does, I think that's how the Roosters will beat Manly. You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. How do you see the Manly Seagulls beating the Roosters? Your mob, Manly. How do you see them?
Look, I think if it's to beat Roosters on Saturday, I'd say it's going to be through maybe Four and Sherry Evans. I mean, they're the 2 guys that are probably going to get the most points out of. I think, Foreign, I mean, running at line is pretty dangerous. I mean, Foreign's playing at left side with Jack Kovzeski, Brad Parker, and I believe it's Ruben Garrick. So, I mean, if Foreign can get a good short ball to Gajewski throughout the game, that'd be pretty good. And I'd say maybe, and since Foreign's, probably going to help Cherry Evans take a bit of pressure off, I think, most of the points will come through Kieran Foreign. And Cherry Evans, Cherry Evans obviously got a great kicking game. So I guess Cherry Evans' kicking game is going to be pretty crucial as well during the match. I mean, maybe at some points you can try and kick for Jason Saab, because I think Cherry Evans and Jason Saab are on the right side together. So maybe go try and target that side as well. But there's Daniel Tupou there, so you got two drafts playing against each other, Saab and Tupou, which would be interesting. But yeah, look, I guess with no Tom Trbojevic, I mean, it's gonna be a bit of pressure on Four and Cherry Evans to get the points for the team, and I can't see Dylan Walker lasting more than 50 minutes or maybe 60 minutes on the field playing at fullback. I'd say maybe Tino Funa can slot in there sometimes, just to see how things go. I think Des is going to try and trial Funa and Walker at fullback for a bit, so that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I just mainly see the points coming through Four and Cherry Evans, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, bro. I think it comes down to Foreign and Cherry Evans. If they can have a good kicking game and a good running game, then I think Manly can really get over the top of the Roosters. They're going to have to get out to a good start, though. If the Roosters start off well and Manly are down 10, 12 nil early, it could be a long night for the Seagulls. But, I think Manly have the team to win. I think their forward pack is going to have to be unbelievable. Josh Alloway's going to have to make a statement. Martin Tapau's going to have to try and show up. Takayaho somehow, the back rowers are going to have to be dangerous, a bit like kick-outers every week. So I think for Manly to win, it's going to have to be just on the back of Foreign and DCE, and Lachlan Croker's going to have to do a great job at dummy half. He's in for it's a big ask for Lachlan Croker, but I think Manly are capable of winning, but I just think the Roosters will be too good here. So
Yeah,
what is your tip? What is your tip for this game?
Yeah, look, obviously as a Manly fan, it'd be great to see us turn up, but look, Roosters will have the better team. They'll probably be the better on the night. So I'd say Roosters win 24 points to 12, but I mean, people are saying it's going to be an absolute thrasher, but no, it won't be a thrashing of a win for the Roosters. I think it'll be much closer than expected.
Yeah, look, I've got the Roosters by 12 as well. I think Manly will make this game close. They definitely will. They've got some great players that'll make it a close game, but I just think the likes of Tedesco, if he fires Keary at halfback, which is going to be interesting, he's taking more control of the side now. And, I hate to say this, but I think the Roosters fullback is going to run straight through Manly's. I don't know, man. I hope it's close. I got Roosters by 12. I think Manly will push them, but so I got Roosters by 12, and I think you do as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. I do.
All right. Let's move on to let's move on to the last game on Saturday Night Football at 7:35 at Panthers Stadium. It is the Penrith Panthers versus my team, the North Queensland Cowboys. 7:35 Saturday night. Lorenzo, how do you see the Panthers beating the Cowboys?
I can see it. I can see Panthers going through probably Jerome Luai. I think Luai, he needs to kind of bring his his skill set to the game. I mean, he's also a very, very talented player, so I think he needs to really run the ball and provide some points. I also think maybe the Panthers can win probably through their forward pack. I think Fisher Harris can lead the way, and so is Mose Leota, who isn't too bad, to be honest. Mose Leota, I think he's going to be a good replacement for Fisher Harris. So I reckon Fisher Harris and for Leota's going to be a good replacement for James Tarmer, I meant to say. So I'd say Leota and Fisher Harris will be the two that leads the way in the forwards. Also, Coruscant, that's where some points will come from. So that's how I can see Panthers beating Cowboys through those sort of players.
Let me just start by stating the Panthers' left edge is giving me friggin' nightmares. I am frightened of it. Luai, Kickout, Crichton, and Brian Toto's going to the left side. Now, Viliame Kickout is going to be running at Cohen Hess. Good night, Cohen Hess. You might want to go down to McDonald's and get a fucking cheeseburger. For crying out loud. And, I love Michael Morgan. He's probably my second favorite player in the Cowboys team, but I hope he has them shoulders ready, because Kickout is going to be giving him a friggin' nightmare. The Hammer's going to be defending against Stephen Crichton. The Hammer's interesting, but look, the Panthers' left edge, it's giving me nightmares. The Panthers' right edge is also quite strong. Nathan Cleary, Kurt Capewell, Paul Momorowski, and Charlie Staines. Now, look, the Panthers, it all comes down to Napi Coruscant and Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary. If they all do what they do best, then the Panthers win through, just class, the spine they got. Their forward pack is quite good. A lot of pressure on Moses Leota to perform, so I think he'll do a job. But I reckon that Panthers left edge is going to be probably something that they will go at most of the game. So, Luai, Kickout, Crichton, and Toto, they're giving me nightmares. So, the Panthers go that side and they score one try down there. It could be a long night. So, I think that's how the Panthers win is through that left side. It's got me nervous, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do you see the Cowboys beating the Panthers? How do you see them knocking them off?
It's gonna be through Michael Morgan and I reckon Reece Robson. I think Reece Robson, from dummy half, showed some good form last year. He showed that he has a good vision from dummy half, I think. And Mike Morgan coming back, obviously it's been a while since he's played, and I think the points come through Michael Morgan. I think Michael Morgan's obviously that sort of guy who can create something out of nothing. He's a really good player that can do that sort of stuff. So I think maybe Michael Morgan's the guy that needs to probably bring the points out of the what's it called, Cowboys. I think it's him that I think it's him that the Cowboys will look to Michael Morgan, I think, and I'd say Robson, Holmes. Oh, look, Holmes is on the wing, so it's gonna be a bit harder. But maybe Michael Morgan or someone will try to get the ball out there. But it's gonna be through Morgan and Reece Robson, I reckon, the points.
I agree, bro. I 100% agree with everything you just said. I just want to say about the Cowboys. Now, look, the Cowboys have the team to win against Penrith. Scott Drinkwater at fullback is going to be interesting. I think he has a better ball playing ability than Valentine Holmes does. Michael Morgan is the key to the Cowboys. If Michael Morgan is fit, he is ready to go, I think he is the key to the Cowboys. Jason Tamalolo in the middle, probably the best forward in the game when he's fully fit. Kyle Feld on the wing with Val Holmes is going to be interesting. Now, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm targeting that side of Paul Momorowski and Charlie Staines. Two guys who are not really familiar with each other before. That they might be a little bit nervous together. If I'm the Cowboys, go to that left side. Give the ball to Drinkwater. Go to that left side. Test it out. Honestly, the hammer, Isan Masters and Valentine Holmes on that left side, they have to target Momorowski and Charlie Staines. And if the Cowboys and left edge attack can expose Staines and Momorowski, they're a chance. And if Tamalolo does what he does best, gets over 200 meters a game, and if Michael Morgan's game management and his running game is on point, the Cowboys are capable of beating Penrith. They are going to go close. Now, I think the Cowboys bench is quite good too. Josh Maguire is going to bring a lot of experience and impact off the bench. Corey Jansen, I'm glad he's getting an opportunity. I think the Cowboys are a good chance here, but I'm leaning towards Penrith.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really sorry to everyone in the chat and Nick, but I've probably got to go probably right now. Got things happening, but look, I think it's gonna be a good game, nothing less. I think Cowboys will probably push the Panthers all the way. Good luck to the Cowboys, and hopefully they can get the win for you, Nick. But it should be a good game, and I agree. From what you said.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, well, I think so. The Panthers will win, I think. I've got Panthers by 8. What's your tip for the game?
I've got Panthers winning 28 points to 16. Hopefully it's a lot more closer, but I think Panthers will run away with it. But hopefully the Cowboys can surprise us.
Yeah, also I've got Panthers by 8. You got Panthers by 12. So, fair enough. So, would you say you have to go? Do you?
Yeah, just gotta do some things now. But thanks for having me on once again. Hopefully you all enjoyed the Breakdown Podcast episode 2. Sorry to go, but
no worries.
We'll be back again for sure.
I'll probably just go for these last 2 games on my own then if you got to go, which no dramas, bro.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're all right, bro. All good. Thanks for coming on, and I'll probably talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later and see everyone in the chat. Hopefully you've enjoyed.
No worries. Catch you, bro.
All right, see you later.
Too easy, bro. All right, so NRL Vid 090 had to go, which is unfortunate, but anyway, we've got two more games to get through. We'll go through it real quick. So the Raiders and the Tigers. Look, I think for the Raiders to win, it comes down to the start. If they get off to a really good start, I think they're a good chance of winning this game. Josh Hodgson returns to the Raiders, which is big. Jack White and George Williams in the halves. Jack White, the reigning Dally M medal winner. George Williams, probably in the top 5 best halfbacks in the game. He was brilliant last year. Time to the clock state. If Canberra start well, I think they will win the game. Their forward pack is very good. Josh Papali and Elliot Whitehead and Joseph Tarpany, all fantastic experienced players. So, look, I think Canberra definitely. I think Canberra are a really good chance here, and I think if Canberra complete their sets and kick to the corners and do all the little things right, I think Canberra win. And for the West Tigers to win, I think it comes down to the start for the Tigers. They just got to be patient. They need to do the old ambush. Get out to an early start, be physical, do things to the Raiders that they don't expect. You need to really get up in their face. The forwards need to step up. Alex Twal, Tamo, offering Gowie. They all need to gel early and try and ambush the Raiders down there in Canberra. Luke Brooks needs to have a big game. Dane Laurie at fullback, he'll be targeted, but I think he's in for a decent game. So look, the Tigers to win, I think they need to get up to a really good start and just put some early scoreboard pressure on the Raiders, maybe like an 8-10 lead early, and try and put some pressure on the Raiders and try and get into their heads. But I think the Raiders will win that game by about 24 points. I think they'll be too good for the Tigers in that one. And the final game is the Dragons and the Sharks. Now, look, the odds are actually the odds of the games I didn't mention before. Panthers, Cowboys, right? Panthers are $1.35. Cowboys are $3.25. Raiders are $1.30. And Tigers are $3.50. So now the last game is the Dragons versus the Sharks. Now the Sharks, their favourites at $1.65. The Dragons are at $2.20. Do you think, I think for the Dragons to win, I think they have a good chance. They're at home. It's a rivalry game. I think for the Dragons to win, it's going to come down to their halves. Adam McLean and Ben Hunt, Matt Duffy at fullback, McCulloch at dummy half. If the spine clicks early, the Dragons have enough attack to win the game. Matt Duffy, Zach Lomax, Jack Bird in the centres, Adam Clune at 5'8", which I think is a good thing for the Dragons. Ben Hunt at halfback. If he can get his confidence going, I think he's in for a good game. McCulloch at dummy half is going to be interesting. He's got a lot of experience, so we'll see how he goes. And can the young forward step up? Can Josh Kerr do a job at back row for Tyson Frizzell, who's left the club? Paul Vaughan needs to really take more leadership of this Dragons forward pack now. So I think for the Dragons to win with the new coach Anthony Griffin, they need to get through their goddamn sets, hold the ball, be patient, maybe some bombs up in the end, maybe on last tackle, maybe put up a bomb to the corner, maybe try and test out their wingers, maybe test out the Sharks outside backs, test Sione Katoa, test Molatolo, maybe target Josh Dugan, who we all know who has had a few injuries over the last couple of years or so. So if the Dragons get through their sets, they are a good chance of winning this game because they have the attack in them to win. So that's how the Dragons win. And for the Sharks to win, I think the Sharks, the way the Sharks win the game is it's simple for them. They're young forward pack, Braden Hamlin, Uwelli, Toby Rudolph, all these young forwards coming through the system. Aaron Woods is still there for experience. Wade Graham off the bench. Got Aiden Tolman. I think the Sharks, if their forward pack lays a good platform, if Matt Moylan has a good game at 5'8", Chad Townsend needs to step up and do more. And if they're outside backs, Sione Katoa, Molatalo, really good players. Jesse Ramian needs a big game. He needs to get more ball early in the game. Josh Dugan for experience. Will Kennedy at fullback. I think he'll do well. I think the Sharks can win by just, worrying the Dragons forward pack and just going through the middle. So, if the halves is going to be a very interesting battle. Adam Clune and Ben Hunt versus Matt Moylan and Chad Townsend. So look, I think it'll be a really good game. This one, I think it'll be entertaining as. So I got the Sharks winning by, I think I had Sharks by 4, so it should be a very interesting game, that one. But look, guys, that is the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast, episode 2, all but wrapped up for the night. If you enjoyed the podcast live, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also want to thank NRL Vid 090 for jumping on the live stream podcast. We will be back again next week. Next week we'll probably get another person on, so we'll have 3 people on the podcast live next week. I'm not sure who yet. I'll have to talk to a few people, and we'll go from there. But look, anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys later tonight for another YouTube video. And I'll see you guys later. The footy's back! See you guys later.